made it. We have officially made it to the last Rivals League Split 2 stream. And it's going to be me and your boy Husky. Husky, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I'm excited. Hopefully it's a competitive series. A little bit surprised about both of the teams that made it. I think a lot of our fans were, except those two teams. But I think that just leads to the excitement. So
Yeah.
ready for the games, but also ready to see who's going to win these awards tonight.
Yeah. So we're, what time is it? All right, we got about 30 minutes to do a quick little run back. We'll do the award shout outs for Split 2, community/admin voted. And then we'll get into maybe a little break and then the finals. So kicking it off with a little recap from last week. So just the two matches. Obviously, we casted one of them that went to 4 games. So maybe we'll hit that one first. Um, Omega taking on Brown Lives Matter, and that one was kind of split. I mean, most people had BLM winning because they're the undefeated team. I'd say first game was close, and then the next three not so much.
Yeah, really surprised. BLM obviously the favorites being undefeated going into that game looked great all regular season, but even in the game that they won, it didn't look great for them. And you got to think, Omega just really stepped up their game come these playoffs. That's 2 weeks in a row they've just, you know, looked amazing. So no discredit to BLM. I think Omega stepped it up, but still a surprise having an undefeated team go down so easily.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy to point to the role swap that Omega had because they're undefeated since they swapped their mid and 80 carry. Don't want to say that's like the only reason by any means. They were still a good team before doing that. They only fell all split regular season once to BLM and once to the Patriots, who were the top two teams regular season, all split at least. And then their Omega's going to make it onto the final. So game one was pretty close, kind of a low kill game. I mean, somewhat back and forth, despite BLM taking that one. Of course, BLM had the sub top lane first 2 games, right? Yeah. But BLM looked solid, and they pulled out the win there. A lot of back and forth, and they ended up winning that one. And then, you go to game two. Was maybe close for a second. I guess game two was the second closest game. That's tough when you look at the score line of 21-10, but I mean, big news popped off on that one. Nightmare and Poodle had pretty much a good game or a good series. Every single game, Poodle played well. So, I mean, is there anything crazy that you think Omega did in that series that's really gonna help them win in the finals, or did they just play well all around to where BLM I guess struggled all every game?
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed. I think we talked about it a lot on stream by 8,000. Very, very aggressive jungler. We've seen that go very right last week. We've seen some series where being so aggressive and taking every single thing can go very wrong. It worked out last week for them. So of course they're gonna look great. Other big shout out I think would be Poodle. Not many deaths in the whole series. I think had a perfect game, had a one death game. You know, Supports don't get all the love, as you know. But definitely some good games from Poodle, good games from 8,000. Obviously, big news, Nightmare Concrete. The whole team did well. The drafts were good. But the two that stood out for me were 8,000 and Poodle.
Yeah, curious to see. Of course, that's going to be a big talking point tonight. The jungle gameplay, interesting, interesting two jungles with somewhat similar gameplay styles, at least half the time. So that'll probably be a big topic during the actual match. So no, Omega, good series. They go on to finals, and they're going to face the winner of our other series, which is Kachow Esports, taking that 3-2 victory over the Patriots. A lot of people had Patriots winning that one, maybe outside of the Kachow team itself. So it went to 5 games, and the first 2 games looked pretty close. I caught the fourth and fifth game, at least, since our stream kind of ended before theirs did. 1 and 2 look somewhat close. Of course, Kachow winning those two. Games 3 and 4, Patriots, they won, and it was not very close. And so, had to think they had that momentum going into that Game 5. And for the most part, Game 5 was fairly close outside of maybe like the last 15 minutes out of the 35-minute game, 34-minute game. Uh, I don't know. Team comp, I think, was the big topic for that one. Uh, of course, Key popped off with a Kindred and the Singe pick. We were watching it with some of the Omega people. They even called it. They picked Singe here, then Kachow was going to win this one, and they did. They picked Singe, and they ended up winning that one. So, Kindred, very good into the ult from Fiddlesticks. Any thoughts on that series other than surprised?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, um, it was a surprise, but you know, I think you mentioned it in your Barbarian breakdown that you put out a little bit earlier. These guys are not, surprise players per se. They went to finals last year, a few of them. Um, did end up losing last year, but you know, definitely have some experience in Rivals League, going deep in series, winning playoff series. So, I think a lot of people are counting them out already in finals. So this is going to be the third week in a row. Kachow, probably the underdog, but they keep proving everyone wrong. They did it last year, so yeah, I'm excited to see what they pull out. But definitely quality players with a lot of experience.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think they've been on paper underdog the last 2 weeks, and even in this finals match, if someone had to be the underdog, it's going to be Kachow. Uh, the real question is, I was trying to think of, and we can kind of get into the prediction part of it. Between these two teams, which one had the more impressive win? So you have a team that, um, in Omega, that took down the undefeated team, hasn't lost all split, and they beat BLM with, I don't want to say complete ease, but the last 3 games were not very close. Or you have Kachow, big underdog, I would say, in semis. And they took down the reigning champs. It did go 5 games, though. I mean, which one's the more impressive win in semis?
Uh, I gotta go with Omega here. Just the way that they won. Um, you know, Also, you can say what you want. Pat's defending champs, but BLM was undefeated and they beat the Pats, so theoretically they were the best team in the league, and they lost pretty convincingly. So I got to say Omega was more impressive, but obviously getting to finals in itself is an impressive feat. So that's not to say Kachow's not impressive.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's if you take out split one, you just look at split two. You have to say beating the undefeated team with relative look like ease. That one's gotta. I'd agree. Take the more impressive trophy there. Uh, so for this matchup, Kachow versus Omega. Omega played really hard into the scaling comps. Uh, Not to say it's the only way they can play by any means, but it's been working for them. It worked for them in quarters and in semis. So I'm curious to see if that's what they're going to opt to do, at least to kick it off. Um, Whereas Kachow, I don't even know. I mean, they kind of have like a wombo combo going on. And of course, they play heavily through a carry style jungler. Both teams have a jungler that plays more of the carry style, carry champs at least. Um, you think that's what we're going to see? Are we going to see two potential carry junglers and they're just going to be fighting each other in the jungle, and whoever rotates first with that lane pressure is going to win? Or is one of them going to take the back seat and go tank duty?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going tank duty. That's not what got them here. Don't fix what's not broken. So I think you're just gonna see, you know, two junglers go crazy. Maybe some flashes for Scuttle Crab, Blabber style, maybe something crazy. But they're just going all in, straight to the wall, 1,000%. And it's kind of on their teams to just say, you know what, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to take every single fight, every single play. We got to be there for them because they don't know when to stop, and if we're not, it's going to be a troll. So we got to make sure to go in with them and just win every fight.
Because obviously we aren't to the point where we're seeing any drafts. I don't think we were going to have maybe a potential sub for Omega. I don't think they're going to do that anymore. I believe the starters for both teams are going to be here. It's going to be, I'm pretty sure, a reverse top for Kachao.
Yeah, that's what they listed it as.
Okay, so um, their usual lineup for both teams. Um, can't see any drafts. Don't even know who's going which side game one. Who you have here winning split two finals?
Oh man, money on the line. I got to go Omega. They look great. They beat the undefeated team. Um, they just look such a complete team 2 weeks in a row. With that said, I think I've picked the wrong team every single playoff series so far. So everyone should put all their money on Kachao.
Okay, fair enough. Man, I did the breakdown. I put Omega 3-2, but I think I also put in there. I won't be super surprised if either team, like, I think every outcome, like all six outcomes, is possible. Uh, there's a lot of series where, like, okay, I don't think the underdog can even win 3-0. Like, if they're they're gonna win 3-2, maybe 3-1. I think Kachao could come out and win 3-0. It wouldn't be the craziest thing. I don't think I'll split. Um, if I was a betting man, I probably would opt to go Omega just because back-to-back weeks with this lineup, they haven't even gotten close to losing. Um, Kachao, they've also won back-to-back weeks with a big week last week, but it's a lot closer. So it's tough for me to bet against Omega. Uh, I'm hoping for somebody to win in 3 super close games. That's the goal. Uh, but I
All right.
doubt we'll get that one. So I put 3-2. I'll rock with the 3-2 Omega win. Per my write up, I won't switch it up. But yeah, I do think it's going to come down to the jungle. Obviously, both teams have good players in multiple roles. Not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I mean, both teams heavily go through the jungle, whether it be just hard carrying, high KDAs and whatnot, big damage output, or a lot of the, like for Omega, their jungle even on carry style champs will be the engage to start those fights. So gonna be an interesting one. I think someone predicted like 20 junglers are gonna get banned this series, so we're gonna end up with some crazy jungle picks in like game 4 or 5 if we go that far. But no, we'll have to see.
Yeah, make these guys play tanks, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get to game 5 and then we finally see a tank jungle. Okay, what you're really here early for is the awards. So similar to Split 1 Rivals League, we have nine awards, I think. For some reason I was thinking it was 10, but 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. 9 awards. 5, 6 of those will have a screen, I guess, and then the 3 kind of off random awards, the overrated, underrated, and 6-man. We'll just talk about, but we'll discuss the third place, second place, and then show who is the first place. The caveat, which I'll probably say it a couple times, so people don't cry in the DMs or whatnot. This was community voted, so if you're upset, you go to banter and call other people out. Don't come at me. You can DM Husky.
Yeah, if you don't like it, it was 100% me.
Mm.
I had 100 votes. You all had 1. So yeah.
Yep.
Caster diff.
Let's actually do the random awards first, just because we're just be talking about those. So the first 3 awards, we'll do the most overrated, then most underrated, then 6-man. We'll kick it off with a bang.
The spicy ones.
Yeah, the spicy one. And so this one we actually had a tie. There were 2 or 3 that had a tie, but they were kind of these random awards, so I opted to leave it as a tie. So and of course these are regular season and community voted once again. So regular season awards. Gonna start off with most overrated player of the split. You don't have to answer if you don't want to for this one, but if you want to throw out a name, do you have anybody that you think the community would vote?
All right. So I want to start off. This was not who I would say necessarily, but there has been a lot of Storm hate going on in the last 2 seasons. He talks a big game. He's a great player. Unfortunately, his teams have not gotten, championships yet, and they made playoffs. But I think that if I had to guess, Storm's going to get a lot of votes here as the highest-rated player of the league, and not being on the number one team.
Okay. I will say he at least got a vote.
Okay.
But is actually not going to crack the top 3. So, in third place, most voted, highest votes for most overrated. Third place was Gabriel Leo, the top laner for Orcas, which I think played jungle a little bit, but I think a player that came in, a lot of people thought he was going to smurf the league, and Orcas ended up not doing the best, so he ended up getting third place, and then tied for first, or you can say tied for second, depending on how you want to look at it. Tied for first for most overrated player was Drakenrich and BKs. Both tied for that number one spot for most overrated.
Okay.
That's just, it might have been some, some, I don't know, just taking shots at the top 2 teams maybe. But those 2 tied for the first for most overrated. Hey, I think what you want. Either way.
That's crazy.
All right, most underrated player. So most underrated had a tie for second place, but it was 3 people tied for second. Who would you think either you who you think or what the community would put for most underrated player?
We're just thinking regular season here.
Just regular season.
Just regular season. So I think it's going to be a support. I think supports are always going to be up there for underrated. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to go with someone that we talked about a little bit earlier. Maybe it's because of playoffs, and maybe that won't count because of that. But I'm going to say Poodle. I think, Poodle has had a great season and not always talked about as one of the better players, but definitely someone who has kept their team together and made all the plays needed of them.
Okay. Hey, not a bad guess. I will say tied for second was Poodle 25, Nike Dragon, and Adrian Legitness, all tied for second place for the most underrated player of the split. And most importantly, at number 1, the winner for most underrated player was actually going to be Savvy, the support for the Orcas, who it's always tough being on a team that doesn't win a lot of games. But there were multiple times, I think, this split that it was pointed out, not only by us, but by other people, that Savvy had actually played really, really well, given the outcomes of the game. So congrats to Savvy for winning that one.
Always the supports, man.
Always the supports.
Underrated, I tell you. Unless you're an ADC, then they're the only thing that matters.
True. All right, 6th man of the split, the last interesting award, I guess. Non-atypical word. 6th man of the split. So 2 people tied for second, 2 people tied for first. And this was the closest out of all of them, I think, because there were only a few people that actually got voted for. So a lot of people kind of agreed. Who are you thinking, 6th man?
Yeah, I mean, based off of some pop-off games when they filled in, I think Nike Dragon probably won this award. Just had some absolute bangers when he did sub in and play some games for the Pats.
Okay. He's on the list, but tied for second or tied for third, however you want to look at it, is Ray. Oh, sorry, no, different. 2 different sentences. My bad. Tied for second is Ray, the top laner for Kachao, who played some mid also. Tied with Adrian Legitness for second on the 6th man voting. So 2 Kachao members. And your winner, or winners, I guess, tied for first for 6th man is Nike Dragon and Alcoholic, top laner for BLM, and AD carry for the Patriots. So both of them tied with a lot of votes. So no surprise there on either one. Both of those, every time they subbed in, both of those players played really well.
Yeah, I mean, also no surprise being on the top two teams as far as regular season record goes. When you sub into a good team around you, or at least a winning team around you, obviously gonna be a little bit easier to look better when you have that base around you. So
True,
makes sense.
true, true. Okay, for the awards where I can actually show you a picture of who won. Let's save MVP for last, naturally. Uh, what let's go up to the chat. Give me a role that you want to know first for the all rivals voting. Bum, 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 bum. Support most important role is gonna go first. All
The
right.
least important role? Question mark.
What? No, some people would say that. A lot of people would say that, but it's okay. It's not true. Um, okay. Reminder of my disclaimer: these are community voted, and also this is for regular season. So, all right, who you thinking support? Who's your
Yeah.
guess?
Just a disclaimer: I do not know who won these.
Yeah.
So this is just Husky's hot takes right here. Maybe not so hot. I would go that. Um, same thing. Good team. I think that obviously helps with the support. Tiny Fist of Fury.
Okay. Okay. Voting says in third place for support is going to be Poodle25 from Omega. Second place for support is going to be Tiny Fist of Fury from BLM. And first place, I believe this was by one vote, so pretty close race here. First place for support is going to be Death Knight, the support from the Patriots. And so I believe a lot of these roles are within like 2 votes outside of one of the roles, but this one's very close. I assumed those top 3 would be the top 3. I was just curious how the votes were going to fall between those 3 on who was actually going to win it. So Poodle, Tiny Fist of Fury, and then Death Knight, your winner. A staple all split for the Patriots.
Interesting, Tarek display there. They did play Tarek, I believe, but I don't know that it worked out for them.
Maybe once or twice. Who knows? Who knows? So there you have your support. Some say most important role. Some people are saying. All right.
So,
What role is next, people? Hey, I'm just the messenger. Top lane. Top lane, it's going to be next. Some say the least important role. It's just an island up there. Sometimes you forget about it. Who knows? All right, top lane. Who do you think's going to rock this reward?
yeah. I mean, before you told me who the most overrated player was in the league, I would have said BK's. But you know what? I'm sticking with it. I'm still saying BK's.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Had a little message. So top lane voted by the community. In third place is ELY Mango, the top laner who ended up, I think, playing jungle at the end for Elysium. In third place. In second place, voted is going to be the top laner for Braum Lives Matter in Kama. And at number 1 voted top laner, I believe again, from last split, is going to be BK's from the Patriots. And this is another one of those roles where it was a super close race between the Patriots and BLM. So tied for first and most overrated, but still going to get the votes to win top lane all rivals for the Patriots.
I mean, you have to be rated to be overrated, so
True.
that's the way to look at it, right? Also, I remember last split, no one from the same team won a single. Like there were no repeats. There was five positions, 5 teams had someone. So already 2 positions in, and Patriots, they have 2. So good for them. Good for them. You didn't get the title this year, but at least you were the best in something.
True. And it's always tough because, especially whenever we do this after most of the playoffs are over, and you see teams. I mean, so far it's the top 2 have been the 2 teams that everyone thought was going to make the finals but didn't. But these are regular season awards. So, what role do we have next? Chat. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I was about to say, I think that's bot. We'll rock with AD carry. Some say the role that gets carried by support. That's just what some people were saying.
I would never say that.
All right, AD carry. You've played this role before, once or twice. Who do you think is the All Rivals regular season, community voted best AD carry player?
Uh, I think that it's going to be Neon Sword for this one.
Okay,
I
I
think
think you're just picking the best team.
we break the curse. Pats don't win one
You don't
here.
think Patriots are going to clean sweep?
Sorry, intelligence. I think you're great, but Neon Sword put us some great numbers.
Okay. Bot lane, per the votes, in third place is Macho0001 from Kachow. Gonna get the third most votes. Second place is going to be Intelligence from the Patriots, and Husky himself called it the number one voted AD carry of the split is the AD carry from Braun Lives Matter in Neon Sword, who I feel like the first half of the split just went under the radar, but I don't remember a week where Neon Sword didn't do anything but pop off. So
That made a lot
no
of sense.
surprise. Have you ever played this champ on the screen before?
I don't recognize it. Chat's gonna have to tell me who that is. Unfamiliar.
True. Well, anytime Neon Sword got it, definitely popped off. So I'm sure you do the exact same.
Yeah, for sure. Just different league. Same degree of difficulty though.
Yeah, true. All right, 2 roles left, and then the MVP. What are we doing next? Middle or jungle? Oh, do they put the jungle? It is. All right. Jungle was another role that was within 1 vote. I think first, second, and third might have all been within 1 vote. So this was one of the closest voted roles. Who are you thinking for jungle?
You know, based off how the season went, based off of what we've seen in the vote so far, I am gonna go with the defending MVP himself, at least for the next minute and a half, Mr. Eyesight.
Okay. Let's see what we got cooking up. So, third most votes for jungle here in split 2 is 8,000 from Omega. No surprise there, being in the top 3. Number 2 for the most votes is I'm Stealthy from Brown Lives Matter. And once again, you called it number 1 jungler for split 2, voted by the community, is going to be Eyesight from the Patriots. So far we've seen 3 Patriots and 1 BLM for at least the positional awards.
Yeah, not a whole surprise there based off of their record in the regular season. But you do want to see other teams get love too. So, maybe next split some people can vote not just on the best teams, on everyone involved. Not that they're not the best players. I mean, you're on the best team for a reason, but I don't want to see a team just win everything.
I mean, that's part of the fun. That's why it's always interesting because it sometimes swaps from who you might vote in playoffs versus the regular season. But these are regular season awards, as every team got the same amount of games. I mean, looking through these beforehand, I didn't think anything was too crazy. Even whoever got third on all the roles deserved by everybody. So I'm not going to ask because this time it's going to be mid lane. Last but not least, who are you thinking? Who you got mid lane? If your crystal ball prediction.
You know what? Let's say Braum Lives Matter takes home another one, and we're gonna go with the other most overrated person in the league. I believe, which was voted on. Let's go Drakenrich here.
Okay. So you don't think out of all 5 positions, you think it's going to be Patriots, BLM take home all 5?
I did think that coming into this, to be honest. So we're gonna stay on that. I think that Salo and Drakenrich are gonna be 1 and 2 in this, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Mid lane voting by the community. Third most votes is going to be Storm from Elysium. Played top lane last split, swapped to mid this split. Gonna get the third most votes. Second most votes. This was another one that was within 1 vote for 1 and 2. Second most votes is going to be Salosin from the Patriots and Husky on a 3-pick streak, correct predicting number 1 mid laner voted for the award of all rivals mid laner is going to be Drakenrich from Braum Lives Matter.
I am on a streak. This is the last thing I'm gonna get right all night. So sorry for every single caster curse during the finals, guys.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. Now, Draken had a great split. I don't think he really had any series where he lost mid lane. So I wasn't surprised here. Of course, 1-2, like you said, were close, but Drakenrich going to take home the mid lane all rivals award here. One more award. I've heard of it before. They call it MVP. It is different than actual role awards. Most valuable player. This one, a lot of people got 1 vote, but only 3 people got more than 1 vote. So, if you had to pick somebody, who you think for MVP of Split 2?
I'm a big fan of best player on the best team. I think that is how I voted for MVP. I know some people might view it differently, but with that being said, I think Braum Lives Matter was undefeated, so you got to pick someone from their team for MVP here, and for me, that is going to be Neon Sword.
Okay. So most valuable player award, voted by the community, regular season. In third place is going to be Salosin, mid laner from the Patriots. In second place is going to be BK's, the top laner from the Patriots. And the winner of most valuable player award, Rivals League Split 2, is going to be Drakenrich, mid laner for Braum Lives Matter.
Okay. That was going to be my second choice there. That was going to be my second choice, I swear.
Yeah. You got the right team.
Streak is broken. But obviously, congratulations, Drakenrich. You had a great year. Your team had a great year. Didn't work out for you in the playoffs, unfortunately. But lots of some regular season awards, and definitely deserved for how you guys played.
Yeah, I assumed Drakenrich was going to be in the conversation for sure. So top 3 had no surprise there. It was a very close race between Drakenrich and BK's. I think if you remove both of those players from their respective teams, both teams have a very different regular season. So makes sense to me. Some people might not agree, but that's okay. Either way, I think much deserved congratulations to Drakenrich on your Split 2 MVP award. All right. Perfect timing. We are going to throw it to a short break and get ready for the match of the night finals, Split 2 between Kachow Esports and Omega Gaming. Stick around, and we'll be back in a few minutes.